Ryan,
take you, Janiah,
take you, Janiah,
to be my wife,
be my beautiful wife,
for better or for worse.
better or worse.
Janiah,
Take you, Ryan,
take you, Ryan,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
for better or for worse.
for better or for worse.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
All right, welcome to episode 6 of our podcast, For Better, For Worse, For Real. This episode is going to be focusing on communication, and we'll touch on how we communicated in the past and how that's changed to how we communicate today. First, we want to do our weekly check-in and just ask, how has this week been connection-wise for me and you?
I think connection wise, we've been doing pretty great. I think it's been a busy week, obviously, with the holidays and everything like that. So it's been weird of having to go to work and then be off work and then go back to work. But I think that on the days where we've been off consistently, it's been great. We've been able to reconnect with each other, reconnect with the kids, do more things together as a family. So that's been nice.
Yeah, I think it's been a weird week with the holidays, and then with circumstances at work, really it gave us a chance to miss each other that we haven't had that in a long time. And it was a little sense of emptiness and like, I miss you. So that was it. Not that I like it, but it was just to feel that for a moment and realize how much we do enjoy spending every damn second with each other, at least talking or communicating somehow. I just missed you. But I think it's been a really good week, and anytime anything came up this week, we were able to rebound really quickly and recover, and even got with each other and told each other that I'm really proud of us this week. I think it's been a good week doing that, and we've shown a lot of growth and progress.
Absolutely. Our therapist is proud of us. And when your therapist says that she's proud of you, you know you've done good work. So we want to have a discussion just kind of talking about the work that we have been putting into our relationship. In past episodes, you guys have heard us kind of referencing this work that we're doing and what is that work that we're doing. So back in August or September, we started using this app called Paired that has really helped us in learning more about each other and opening up communication. So every day there's like a quiz, a question, and a game that you'll answer, and then your partner answers. The great thing that I really like about the app is that it locks your answers so that I actually can't see them until I answer. And it just keeps everything really like non-biased, and nobody has to like alter their answers based off of what the person said before. Like, you're able to answer completely honestly. And it's really just gotten us talking about a bunch of different things like intimacy, just like where we see our lives and our relationship going, just a bunch of different topics. And so that has been a really great tool for us as far as communication goes.
This has been one of the things we've been the most consistent with, and has been able to open up more dialogue between us, where usually I've never liked doing appy things. But when we did the trial run, and it was like, I loved being able to learn more about each other, where it was like during the games where it's like, we try to say this, okay, this is how I would answer things, and then it wants me to answer, how do I think Janiah would answer these things, and then we try to match our answers. And when it's like anything where we only get like, especially below like 60% or something, we're just, that especially opens up dialogue. But it's been very rare that we actually get all matching answers, like 100%.
That I think that may have happened once, or it didn't happen at all. I think the closest we may have gotten was like 80 or 90.
And we've been on like a 150-day streak or something. So for that to only happen once, it's like there's a lot you think you know everything about your partner, and there's still even the smallest things. You still can learn about your partner, where you're like, hey, if put in this scenario, which would Janiah choose? And I'm like, this one. And then when I see your answer and it comes through and it's like she chose something else, I'm just like, wow. And it opens up dialogue, and it's been so fun and opening up communication between us. So I love that this Paired app has really been a tool that we've been able to use to help us in our relationship. Like, it's not the biggest thing. Like, it's not like oh my God, this app is, if you can't communicate, do it. But it's like, it's within the app, the small things to still learn. So our relationship doesn't necessarily just get boring or we feel like there's nothing to talk about. It's like it creates things for us to talk about, even if it's something small. It might not be the biggest or most important thing, but it's still,
Meaningful.
yeah, we're learning and it's fun and it's interesting. I love doing it.
Yeah, I think it really just kind of to give more credit to the app of being able to do that for us. I mean, we've been in a relationship for 16 years and we're just now discovering that we don't know as much about each other as we thought we did.
Hmm.
And I don't think we would have ever discovered that without this app.
We're not we're not being paid. We're not being paid from paired to advertise for them or any of that. This is truly just one of the tools that we found that help our relationship. Um, but if they are listening,
We could be your ambassadors or whatever you want to call it, mascot.
but besides the paired app, what other things have we added to our relationship lately that's been tools to help us?
We talk a lot about the Glorify app, really just as far as us kind of getting our relationship with God on track and just strengthening our faith and just the spiritual aspect of our relationship. We have not been as consistent with that, but that is something that we do plan to bring back into our everyday routine.
Yeah, I think that we love doing that Glorify app. It's so it's almost like when you go to church and you felt like you haven't been in a long time, and then you go and you're like, dang, this message is for me today. Like I felt that. And every time we did that Glorify app, it felt that way. Like I'm reading it and I'm just like, man, now I can apply that to my life. Like reading the devotional part of it, it's like that really, I felt that today.
Yeah. So that's definitely something that we want to keep as part of our things in the toolkit.
Because the biggest part of what we're doing is trying to be consistent with healthy habits and being intentional on every single day. If we can continue with these things, that just becomes our lifestyle. And it's if we're implementing all these healthy habits every day, that that makes our relationship like that's us now. It's not like where we're doing this to strengthen our relationship, and when we're done, when we feel strengthened, when we're in a good place, this stuff starts to go away. I want this stuff to just be our lifestyle. Like we're consistent with the pair thing. I think working out and exercising together has been a good thing for us. Doing this podcast together has opened up a lot of communication and dialogue between us, and we learn through a lot of these therapy homework assignments, and this is real conversations we're having. Like we don't discuss none of this stuff before we do this. This is like us just having a conversation, and it's like this is a great bonding activity, doing this podcast together, exercising together, the Paired app, the Glorify app. All of these things are things we've been doing. I deleted my Instagram, which was a problem for me, having a problem getting on there and just scrolling through girls. It's nothing but females on there and just liking pictures for what reason, right? So deleting that and starting over was refreshing. And what else are we doing?
Couples therapy.
Couples therapy. It's like we were doing it once a week when we first started this journey. Now it's become like maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks, but it's like we're doing that, and it's like it's been a lot of us discussing things and working on our relationship outside of couples therapy. But every time we go to couples therapy, there's still some learning things that we're doing in there, even though it's a lot of catching her up on where we're at. There's still things when we're talking to her that we might catch and just, oh wow, I didn't realize you was feeling that way this week or whatever. And we learn through that. And even getting the kids involved and making sure we got back to doing saying grace over dinner as a family is a great thing. And we just got this kids devotional book that we want to implement to get them more involved. And even when we was doing the kids were working out and exercising with us as a family, all of these things are healthy habits that are bringing us closer and strengthening our connection.
Right, absolutely. And one of the things that I want to say about, because I know people are going to hear this and they're going to think they're going to hear couples therapy and think, uh-oh, what. And I'm like, couples therapy does not mean that you're in trouble. It can. A lot of people do go to couples therapy when they are in trouble. But I think one of the other things on the flip side of that is that couples therapy can just be used as like a maintenance tool. Like, because it is nice to have just this unbiased third party person to be involved and kind of point certain things out, like kind of like not without giving away too much, but like in our last session, you mentioned something to her and she was like, well, that's a kind of toxic way to think about things. And then you're just like, is it? And then having to kind of talk through that and reframe your mindset about, why that's toxic. So that's just been helpful. And couples therapy doesn't mean you're in trouble. It's, it's just a good thing to kind of have in your backpack.
Yeah, I don't want to shy away necessarily from that, by because that's important to know that. And it was about forgiveness, really, or about justifying something where she felt like it was toxic of me. Like if you did something that I was upset with, me trying to justify it and say, I've done stuff too, or I've done worse than that, was not necessarily the healthiest way of thinking about how that did affect me. Me just saying, well, I've done stuff too. That's not the right way to look at, well, what you did bother me. So me just trying to play it in my head as if I did stuff too, that's not the right way to handle me being bothered by something. So it's not, and then it was just me saying, but that's my way of justifying forgiving you for something, where I'm just like, how could I not forgive you for something when I've done worse too, you know? So, um, that was that.
I guess because from her perspective, it might look like you're invalidating your own feelings to make the other person feel better about something, and that in itself is not the healthiest thing to do. Um, but yeah, so that's just kind of a little inside view of what we have in our toolkit.
So today's episode, we really want to dive into communication. How would you say our communication has changed throughout our relationship? Like what were we doing that wasn't necessarily the healthiest, or in what ways has it changed to now where you can say this guy it's grown so much?
I think in the past we were kind of avoidant of how we handled certain things, or really just conflict in general. Like if ever, whenever we got into something, it would kind of blow up into like a full blown argument. There would be a day or two of the silent treatment, and we've kind of felt not necessarily okay with the silent treatment, but we were just both way too stubborn to break the ice. Like we were just kind of like, in a way we kind of were okay. It was just like, I'm not talking to him, I'm not talking to her, and I'll sit here, I'll die on this hill. And so now we are much better about approaching the problem much faster. If there ever is a moment of silent treatment, at best it's about 30 minutes to an hour, and then for whatever reason neither one of us can take it anymore. We're just like, all right, let's sit down and talk about this. So yeah, we our approach to how we resolve conflict has drastically changed, and we're no longer okay or comfortable with just completely avoiding the topic. And then another thing is really just like even the way that we speak to each other, our tone of voice has changed dramatically. Not that we were cussing each other out to hell and back, but we would say things in a certain tone that could be, taken as hurtful. Sometimes there was some cuss words thrown in there or whatever, not really speaking to each other with love or respect. But now we can sit down and say, we use they call them the I statements. I feel blah blah blah, or when you did this to me, it made me feel da da da. So yeah, just even sitting down and being able to speak to each other with kindness and respect, that has drastically changed as well, and I am very thankful for that. Like we're able to just kind of like really be clear headed when we have these conversations.
I think that we can attribute all of this growth in communication to us having created a safe space for each other to feel like I can open up to you and not feel like I'm gonna hurt your feelings, or that you're not gonna get defensive about it. And I can tell you something. I can even preface it now, just to say, hey, babe, I need to tell you something. I don't want you to feel attacked, but I feel this way about this. That allows you to be, put your, open up a safe space and say, okay, kind of bracing for, he's feeling away, and I don't want to come back and, get defensive, but I just want to hear him, and vice versa. Anytime you come to me and say, babe, I need to talk to you, that's a good way of me opening up a safe space and saying, okay, and just, listen to what you got to say. Things in our communication have changed where I just want to try to find a couple examples, like if in a text message where you might assume there was a tone in a text message. Boom, there's no more text the rest of the time because you're assuming that the person has an attitude, and that might just start off with the silent treatment because you're like, you took something the wrong way or something, and now it's just easy for us to communicate and say, hey, that text felt a little bit off. Are you okay? Is there a problem? And just communicating simple stuff like that. And then where we used to always feel like the other person should read our mind, you should be able to read my mind. And then we just sit in all of this. I might be feeling disappointed about something because I felt like you should read my mind. You should know that I want something or need something. Versus now just being able to open up and say it and be like, hey, I need this from you. It's just been a lot of growth in communication.
I agree. And that last point that you made has been really huge as far as like your partner is not psychic. We cannot read each other's minds. Yes, we can read a room and we can pick up on certain clues, but it's at the end of the day, if you're not coming out with it and saying it, that person will never know. So it's really great that we've finally gotten to that point where we could just stop sitting here and be like, he should know. He should. You don't know a damn thing. I have to tell you. Um, but even just kind of like, yeah, in the misconstrued tone or just misunderstandings in general. I mean, how many times, not that it's been a lot, but how many times have we gotten in, there's been like a weird silent treatment thing because you thought I was ignoring you when I simply just did not hear you at all. Like, you're like, you have an attitude, you're not talking to me. And I was just like, I didn't hear you say anything. Like, what are you talking about? I ignore you. I can't hear. But yeah, even just with that, being able to confront it a lot more quickly, um, yeah, we've just shown really great growth and progress in those areas.
And then also, like, another example would be, I like when, if I didn't feel like saying something or talking about something, and you can clearly see something's up, and you check, hey, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. And then we don't just leave it at that, and then you double check and you create that, again, you create that safe space and say, baby, like, I know something's up. You can talk to me. And then instead of me just feeling like I'm saying I'm fine and just not talking about it, that you kind of getting down on my level and me feeling like you do want to hear me. I don't want to say I'm fine if I'm not fine. Now we've gotten a lot better at opening up and just speaking and saying, yeah, I'm not fine. And this is bothering me. This hurt my feelings. And we've gotten so much better at not lying about I'm fine.
Right, because you shouldn't have to lie about that. If you have to lie about that, then I have not created that safe space for you at all. So, yes, by all means, be truthful about how you feel.
I think it's always just been about us being kind of scared how the other person might receive it, or I feel dumb about this. The other person might look at me and say, "Not, I don't think my feelings will be validated. This might be stupid to them, but my feelings are hurt." Or and just being scared to say that. And now we've grown so comfortable and feeling safe and just opening up so much more, and we don't have that sense of being scared anymore. And it's in our relationship now, what we've agreed to is complete openness, honesty, transparency, and being forthcoming with stuff. You don't ever have to feel guilty about anything and feel like I can't tell Ryan this because I'm scared of how he will react, or you do something and you're like that, I gotta delete that or something, because if Ryan knew that, or we can be forthcoming and just have a conversation and say, hey, look, I did this, and that wasn't cool, but I just wanted to let you know. And then the other person not judging, but just being loving and receiving and saying, yeah, let's talk about it. Why would you do this? Or, what, is there something I'm doing? What can I do better? Whatever it is, we've gotten so much better at being open with each other and communicating. You want to jump into this stuff?
Okay, so we have our new couples therapy homework assignment that is going to be on communication. So we have 10 questions that we're going to go through. And if you are watching with your partner, I encourage you to pause if you have to on each question and just kind of ask each other these questions. Have this conversation, alongside us. So we're going to kick it off here. How can we have more intimate conversation?
I think the most important thing is being distraction free. I think a lot of what we have been doing lately is sneaking off into the office or something and just getting down on the pillows and blankets and just being alone and having those long, deep conversations with no interruptions and no distractions. And I think we've already kind of been doing that a lot. And I think that's been important for us. Is there anything else that you think we could?
I mean, I definitely agree with the distraction free portion of it. And I really think that just being intentional and making time to have those conversations, like, kind of like what we do on here with a weekly check in, like making sure that we do that with each other on a daily basis and just say, hey, how the day go for you? Like, where's your mindset at, sort of thing. I think being able to do that definitely would create more intimate conversations.
Yeah, I forgot that one thing that we're also doing in our relationship um, is we both started journaling, and there's an app where every single day we both journal, and it allows us to view each other's journal. Um, what we've done lately is started commenting on each other's journal. So we not only do we get to read in case we miss something throughout the day, maybe we can learn something through that. And commenting on it allows us to make the other person feel heard, like, or seen with everything that, how their day went. And us just being able to say, or pick out any one part of it and say, hey, I feel you on that part. Or, hey, I missed that part today. That's another healthy habit I think that we have, and a part of the openness and transparency in our relationship that I think is helping us. And I think that a lot of couples, that's a lot, knowing each other completely like that. But I think that I love that. I love that we're connecting on all levels and trying to just have that open transparency within our relationship in every way. And just like there's no secrets or surprises. And I just love knowing all of you and where you're at in your headspace, and we never have to guess. And it makes our relationship so much easier, I think.
Yeah, I think in a marriage, you should know all of your partner, not to strip away your individuality or anything like that. Like everybody has to be their own person at the end of the day. But when it comes to your relationship with your partner, you should know all of them. They should know all of you. Like that's what you're doing this for. Like you're in this commitment and you should know all that about each other.
Yeah, so what should I do if I need you to talk more to me? What should I do if I need you to talk more?
I think you just have to ask. Like you have to be very straightforward about it and just say, just say that. I don't know how else to I don't know what else to say about that. Like obviously like don't poke the bear, but yeah, you just need to ask.
Yeah, that sounds simple enough. I think that the same thing goes for you. Would just be like, hey, I don't feel like there's been a lot of connection today. You wanna come over here so we can have chit chat. How's your day? And just asking simple stuff like that. Yeah, it just seems easy to do.
Call it out. When you see it, call it out. How can I let you know I don't feel like talking?
Pretty much the same thing. Just say that. I mean, there's gonna be the body language, and I could just feel like you're having an off day or you need some space or something. But you just being able to say that, like, hey, I'm tired. I kind of just want to be alone and I need some me time, something like that. And as long as we're checking in with each other and saying, is anything wrong? Is anything I can do? And if you're just like, no, everything's good between us, but I just kind of, where I'm at today, I just need a 30 minutes or I need an hour to myself or whatever it is, just being able to say that.
And I think the flip side of that is the other partner being receiving of that. I know oftentimes when we're told that we need alone time or me time, we feel offended, like, excuse me, you want to push me out and be away from me. But that's where that individuality piece comes in. It's like you can't force them to do anything. And it's like that alone time is kind of sacred for some people. That's their time to help get their thoughts and emotions together so that when they are ready, they can open up and talk more. So yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page with you. You just need to say that in a very nice way. Don't be like, leave me alone. hmm
Number four, how can I best communicate a problem or a concern?
I hate to try to sound like a broken record because I've been answering the same way for all these questions, but again, that's just something that you have to just say. Don't do your best to not let it linger too long. Like, come to me and talk about it as quickly as possible. Because the longer it just lingers, the harder it becomes to talk about.
Yeah, I think we've done a great job of just meeting each other with kindness and respect and just saying, hey, this is just kind of frustrating me. This is bothering me, or I'm kind of irritated by this. And trying to do it in the nicest, most respectful way is the key part of that. Where even like, was it last week or something? It was like Saturday or what's today? Whatever it was. But earlier this week, I felt like I was irritated by your time management.
Oh, here we go.
No, I was irritated by your time management and just reflecting on that and you being able to come to me and say, hey, bro, what is the issue? Instead of me, like that was a learning thing for me. I could have came to you. That's one thing I felt like this week I could have done better at was communicating a concern or a problem where it was just more so me being like, hey, I felt like you were not using your time the most wisely, that there were things on a to-do list that we were not going to be able to get to because you're not having the best time management. And it was kind of irritating me. But just being able to come and say nicely and respectfully, babe, I'm frustrated by this, instead of you having to come seek me out and be like, hey, bro, what's problem? So that's one area we've grown in is being able to be more respectful. You could be irritated and frustrated, but there's no disrespect, you know? It's just more body language issues that we might still have. We're just like, you got a problem?
Do you have a problem?
Yeah. And then us just being able to check ourselves really and say, I'm sorry. Yes, this is frustrating me. So just being able to do that without changing our tone or definitely not raising our voice and definitely not using any cuss words with each other. That's one thing that we don't ever want to do is um, I don't ever want to raise my voice or cuss at you for anything ever, unless I'm like, damn, you look fine as hell. That's about as much of a cuss word I want to use with you. I don't want to ever do that. I don't ever want to be like, what the f are you doing? That's crazy. Why would I speak to my partner that way? So just being able to, even when we disagree, even when there's a problem, handling that respectfully.
Absolutely. Is there anything about my tone of voice that bothers you?
Your tone of voice?
Yes. Is there anything about my tone of voice that bothers you?
No, I think that out of the two of us, if anything, I was the one that had the problem with the tone change. I think that for the most part, your tone always remained, unless it was a serious problem, and that I kind of started escalating things. Would you kind of come back? I was like, damn, it was about to be something. But for the most part, your tone is not the problem. Never has been the problem. It's always been you reciprocating the tone. But never have I ever felt like anytime there was an issue, for the most part, you've come to me respectfully. That was,
Ladies do not start fights, but they can finish.
I don't know that to be true.
Anywho, I mean, no, I think that that's fair. I don't think that my tone has ever been crazy unless I feel like I need to raise up, it's no secret that you've had that problem in the past with your tone. Sometimes it comes off a little smart assery, and I'd be like, I don't know who you're talking to, sir. But
It was just a lot of immaturity where I'm making you mad on purpose because I'm just like poking the bear because it was just immaturity and lack of being able to communicate effectively.
you poke the bear and then wonder why the bear yelling at you. I don't understand. Growth, though, growth. Your turn.
What topics should we only discuss in person, not by text, email, or phone? Not that you would ever email me anything.
Who's emailing people nowadays? That's a good question. I mean, very serious matter.
I think that even when we've had serious issues, we've communicated that through, I say text, but we often just communicate on Facebook Messenger. But
That's still a text message.
I think even when we've had serious issues, we've communicated through there and we've followed up at home. But I think we communicate however, like, I mean, even if we're at work and there was an issue and we're separate or apart, communicate through messages. I don't necessarily think there's something that's in person specific thing. Uh, Definitely we dive deeper into those issues in person, but we've always been able to type out a paragraph and say something.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's really the best method. Just because, again, how tone can be misconstrued in a you don't really know. I mean, obviously, with your partner, you could probably gauge how they said it, but you don't know that for sure. And then you could say something and I take it the wrong way, and now I'm mad at you.
Yeah, but I don't ever want us to just leave something like if, especially if we're at work and separated for, 8, 10 hours a day or something, and it's like we're just not gonna speak on it until we get in person. Like I want us to at least touch on a lot of it to where we're feeling okay. We will dive deeper into it when we get together, but I don't ever want us to be like, hey, we need to talk when you get home. Talk about what?
I hate getting messages like that. My anxiety goes through the roof. It's so unnecessary. It's like, please just tell me now.
So I think that's why it's been like, even when we're apart, we could talk through text and lay out a whole essay, and at least we can clear the air on a lot of stuff. And when we get home, we're not just going to leave it on text. It's always, anytime it's especially been something serious, we got back home and followed up and said a lot of the same things, but we addressed all of that again in person. So, because I don't ever want it to be just left feeling at work like things aren't right. I know something's off, and just having a text like, we'll discuss this later. I'm like, yeah, we will, but let's do some of it now too.
Right, right. Definitely the follow up in person is key in that because you don't ever get anything fully resolved when you have that conversation through text because you're not hearing each other's voices. You're not reading facial expressions. It's like that whole human element is not there. So it's like, I guess blame it on us being millennials. Hey, do you feel completely free to talk with me about anything?
I do now. I think that that's been a big part of what we've been doing lately is creating that safe space to allow us both to feel comfortable talking to each other about any and everything. There's nothing I don't feel safe talking to you about. In the past, that was an issue. That's where we've grown in our relationship and our communication has grown, as creating that safe space of saying, I'm I don't feel scared. I'm not going to be attacked. She's not going to get defensive. She's not going to invalidate your feelings. All of those things have changed. Not that you ever invalidated, my feelings, but just getting defensive and kind of saying, "What about you doing this? What about doing all that type of stuff?" We don't fear that in each other anymore. I feel completely safe saying, "Hey, this was bothering me," or "Hey, I did this," or whatever it is. I'm being bothered. This is what's up. Completely safe, and it's been the biggest difference in the way we communicate now. Is I don't feel scared about opening up to you, and I feel so comfortable. I don't have any ego or pride issues. I don't feel embarrassed to say anything anymore. I don't feel like stupid for saying anything. Uh, I feel completely validated in my feelings, and I love you for that. It's been just a big change in, not that we would always, make each other feel validated, but we haven't always been the most receiving of each other, and we haven't always been accept like the way we receive things. Sometimes it would have made us get defensive, and I don't feel that way anymore. We, I think for the both of us, we feel so much safer, and we can talk about anything and just be open and honest with each other. How do you feel?
I mean, I think that you've had to kind of beat it. I think we've kind of had to beat this out of each other a little bit. No, just as far as like being able to open up and talk about anything, we've both had to have like a little bit of a tug and war where we're just kind of like, tell me, like, yeah, and it's like, no, I don't want to, and we've really had to beat that out of each other. But I think for me, I do feel that way now. I think in the past I was dealing with a lot of just kind of like fear of looking a certain way or, being judged or feeling like, well, he don't care about that, so what do I need to bring it up for? But just in the growth that we have now and you showing me that you do care, whether it is something small, it might be small or insignificant to me, like you still care and you still want to hear about it, that has made me feel more comfortable and like, oh, okay, well then I guess I can open up more and talk about these things, because he's showing an interest in them. So I would say for sure.
I feel like this is the damn same question. Am I free to talk with you about anything?
What the? Yes, you are absolutely free to. You should be free to do that. Like, I'm your life partner. You should feel comfortable and secure enough to come to me and talk to me about anything, unless you committed a crime and I'm gonna have to. No, I'm kidding. You should be able to confide in me in those things. That's what we are supposed to be for each other in this marriage, is to be that support person, to be that confidant and that listening ear. So yes, if you don't feel that way at any point, you should also feel like you should say that too.
No, I think that we both encourage that, and that's been something that we've been working on too, is saying, please talk to me about anything. Don't ever shy away from anything. I want to be the person you can lean into. Like, why would there be something maybe you felt comfortable telling your best friend, but not me? Or just, I want us to, we are each other's best friends, so we can talk to each other about anything. Encourage you to get opinions and talk to your friends as well if there's anything like that going on, just to get outside help. That's always encouraged. But I want you to feel safe and secure, and you can always feel free to be open and transparent and forthcoming with things. And it's only going to strengthen our relationship. That's how I feel.
What topics do you most enjoy discussing with me?
My mind was going towards like our future, like planning vacations and stuff together, or talking about the kids and, missing their toddler stage, reminiscing on a lot of happy memories and just planning for more. Just, I think a lot of that is my favorite talks, are reminiscing on all the fun stuff we've been doing with the kids throughout their life, and just missing a lot of those moments, but also looking forward to the moments that, as they grow up, just planning our life around us as a family, or some of just my favorite talks with you.
I most enjoy the talks about the future, just things that we want to accomplish individually, as a couple, as a family, just kind of like just the trajectory of our life and where we see it going. I like talking about future travel plans. It was fun for the 3 minutes we looked up flights to the UK. That felt exciting because it's like, oh, we might go there one day. And really just kind of seeing what the future holds for us. I definitely enjoy those conversations that where we look ahead. Reminiscing is nice. It makes me sad sometimes, but I just it's so much hope in the future, and I like the conversations rooted in that.
Question number 10 is, how can I listen to you better so you feel completely heard?
So that kind of going back to a point we made earlier in the conversation about just active listening without distractions. That's a really big thing. I struggle with this sometimes too, so this kind of goes for the both of us, but really just being able to sit and listen to the other person without the phone being distracting, or whatever else is going on. I know we got 3 kids. That's kind of inevitable sometimes. But even just like when we do make those intentional moments to come down to the office, close the door, we tell the kids we're in here talking, play nice, don't interrupt. And really just taking that time to talk and listen without those outside distractions. Making, validating statements throughout that conversation. Like, I hear you're saying this is making you feel this. And then, kind of coming back with some sort of rebuttal or whatever is what would work.
Yeah, I think we also talked about this in a different episode a little bit, and us just being able to kind of repeat back to the other person so that they wasn't zoned out or tuning you out, like they was listening because kind of like you just said, repeating it back and saying so like validating each other and saying this is bothering you, and just being able to see their point of view and validating them and saying, even if our opinions and views might differ on the matter, make another person feel like how they feel is still okay, and maybe we can compromise on some things if we are having different opinions or views on it, finding that common ground and resolution.
Absolutely. Teamwork makes the dream work, and it does. So, we thank you guys for joining us in this episode talking about communication. Let us know in the comments below, kind of some things that you and your partner do to communicate better. What were some things that you guys were doing before that you have learned to do better? Let us know. As always, you guys can email us any questions or topic suggestions at askthefarmerspod@gmail.com. And make sure you follow us on all of our social medias at For Better, For Worse, For Real. And we'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.